Hi, students in mentoring and coaching. This is your first assignment in autoethnography, which may be a new term to you. And ethnography may be familiar to you because of anthropology, but an autoethnography is like a story about yourself. And where you're going to start is you're going to start on this worksheet. And you don't have to turn this in. This is kind of like a sloppy copy that you can put your notes on and begin to think about your experiences that inform who you are today. Now, why would that be important in this class in mentoring and coaching? Because you come to this class and you come to this coaching with bringing whom you are. What is your experience and what is important to you and what has happened to you in your life? Your understanding that and reflecting on your experience will help you be a better coach and be more understanding and curious about the kinds of experience the person you're working with has and how those have influenced them. So we begin with this, some people call it reflexivity, where you're reflecting on your own experience. But these reflections, and you're going to start with this worksheet. You'll recall two incidents that, as a student, shook the ground you walked on. We'll talk more about that, but think back, there were maybe a couple of things, maybe more, that really made an influence, and just jot them down. You don't have to go into full detail because you're not turning this in. This is for you to remind you what it was about. You'll list two of those. And then you'll list two incidents also when you were a leader or within your classroom that also caused you to rethink your assumptions about the way the world works. One of the things is, one time this often happens is when you're traveling and you come across something that's very unfamiliar that you haven't noticed before. And then you go, whoa, that's not the way things should go. And it causes you to reframe your way of looking at the world. And in this third box, begin to think about a theory, a person, an event that in your profession that reshaped also your way of viewing yourself as a professional. And it could have been a book, it could have been a person, it could have been an experience, although these first two are really about experiences, but something that reshaped your view of yourself and your profession and you as a teacher. And in this last box, you'll write your name with your non-dominant hand. After you've done that, then I want you to go back to those and identify and code them. So you're going to put like an asterisk if it was something that was unexpected, and an exclamation point if it was unsettling, etc. And you're going to put those codes next to these incidents. And that's going to begin to tell you which of these words really powerful in your experience. And you'll go back and identify two of your incidents that have the most codes and put them at the top of this chart as story 1 and story 2. And you don't have to fill in all the sections below, but we're going to kind of dig deeper into those stories to see what was going on in those stories and how those stories actually had a powerful role in determining who you are today as a professional and where you see yourself going in the future. You'll think about what was the role of the learner in the story, what was the role of the educator in the story, what was the role of the leader in the story. Now, all of these people may not be in the story, but you might give people in the story um, those labels. If there was instructional content in the story, something about, that you discovered something new about biology or something that really surprised you about psychology, that could be a topic that's within this story. Also, the context. Now, this is where you're going to flesh out more details of the story. When did it happen? What time of year? What location was it? So you're getting into more details about the story. This will help ground the story for a reader, which I'm going to be the reader, not anybody else, and you'll be a reader. But also the context will also signal and trigger some of your memories. And then think about if there was any roles of culture or ethnic background, something that caused you, because of your background, challenged your notions, your family values, the values that you grew up with, and how this story actually is a demonstration of that. So this first step is really to go through this worksheet and then end up, you're going to create sort of an outline here of writing a story. And then you'll look across both of these and see if there's anything common about those stories that would then begin to tell you the kinds of things in your life experience that have a powerful influence on you, and if there's any patterns across those elements. Both of these pages are worksheets. They are not something you're going to turn in, but they're going to help you do the assignment. Now let's look at the rubric, which would then tell you more about writing the assignment. So you're going to write what is called an autoethnography, in which you are going to investigate your life as almost like a researcher and try to dig deeper into what happened in your life and how this is not just you, but it's related to the culture, the values, the family that you grew up in. And uh, and so it's not just you by yourself, but you are a member of a larger group. So in some ways, it's a balcony view of what happened. And remember, you have identified these stories, these two stories, from the worksheet. So you've actually already begun to think about how powerful these events were in your life. In fact, they were probably transformative, and they probably changed your work and attitudes about yourself. So you are going to write an autoethnography, and you are going to tell two stories. And write two stories, and in those stories, be sure you begin to think about the assumptions, as our assumptions unconsciously often dictate where we're going to, what we do in our life. And sometimes we don't think about those assumptions and what they mean. Like you might assume that students learn better if they have active learning in the classroom. Well, what does that mean? Or students need, like for me, I think there is a role for drill and practice in learning mathematics facts. That's an assumption I have about what you need to know to be a good mathematician. Now, some of you may differ from that, but in this activity, I might end up talking about my assumptions about teaching and learning as and how this incident showed me or taught me, whatever incident I describe, about those assumptions. And then the next part is, after you've really described these well, you're going to then think, okay, well, what does this have to do with coaching? Is this going to affect me? Is this going to limit me in terms of, or enhance my experience as a coach in terms of understanding where the people I'm working with are coming from? Don't forget that to follow 12-point font, double spaced. Uh, I say no more than 4 pages here. It could be a little longer because it's kind of hard to condense to that length, but try not to make it too long, and make sure you cut and paste this rubric to the last page. Okay, good luck with the assignment. I know this is a long screencast, but I do hope it helps you do this assignment.